Hello everyone, welcome back to our My 2018 tutorial series. This is our Pontoon airplane product we've been working on for a little bit. Today we're going to jump right in and get our prop taken care of and create the propeller for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop a cylinder in our scene and get this thing started. All right, here we are, got our cylinder. I'm going to move it forward, bring it over here. I'm going to rotate it. Let's see here, 90 degrees and rotate X. Okay, and I'll just move it down like so and scale it out like that. I want to make sure that the front of my airplane is being covered up by the prop. Now, if your airplane is cylinder or is ovalish, so you can see at the bottom down here, like mine is, where it meets the bottom, meets the top, the sides stick out a lot more. Don't worry about that at the moment. We'll take care of that a little bit later on. Okay, so that looks about right. I'm now going to go to my Vertex mode. I'll select all these vertexes here. I'll go to 4-panel, side view here. I'm just going to move all these vertexes to about right here. Works for me. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on building the prop section with a series of extrusions. So I'm just going to switch over to face mode, my component types. There's my face mode. I'm going to select the whole cap. So I'm just going to use a marquee box, select all this up here, and then deselect everything behind it. So I'm just left with this cap here, like so. Now I'm going to do a series of extrusions. Extrude one time. Be careful here. You don't want to extrude and not do anything with the extrusion. I'm just going to scale the extrusion together. Then I'm going to use the move functionality of the extrude tool and just bubble it out a little bit. Kind of like that. I'll hit G, repeat last command. I'm going to use the scale functionality again and just bring it in so that's got this nice little lip going on right here. Okay. I'm not going to move it at all. I'm just going to make this a flat spot. I'm going to hit G. This time I'm going to basically reverse the process. I'm going to extrude in like so, and then I'm going to push it back into the cylinder to kind of create that inset look. I'll hit G again. This time this is going to be pretty close to the rim here. That will help maintain this shape. Then I'll hit G one last time. So the last time was essentially the same thing as inserting an edge of the pier, just made it to where there's some geometry that will retain this shape when I want to smooth it. Okay, that's good. On the inside, or I'm sorry, the back side of this shape here, I'm going to go to edge mode, double click this edge here, and I'm going to bevel it. Okay, I'm going to switch the bevel fraction down to, let's say, 0.2, maybe 0.1 actually. And let's put 2 segments. Okay, so that's good. All right. So to adjust this to where it fits the prop a little bit more, we have a couple different options. You go to face mode, select one of these faces right in here. And I can go to where it says symmetry, say object X. You can see if I select that face, on the other side of that face is selecting as well. That works good for us. So if I select these 2 faces, I can see the faces on these 2 are also selected. Okay. If I press B, that'll activate soft select. Now the fall off on soft select to begin with is pretty steep. You can see how it's going all the way over it, this bright yellow down to the red, and eventually black. I need to make it to where the fall off is a lot shorter, so it's just around this area. So if I hold down B and drag, oops, I'm sorry, come on, there we go. The fall off brush was off the screen actually. It was such a big fall off. So if you hold down B and drag to the left, eventually you'll get it down. And you can see down here at the bottom here, I'll tell you what your fall off radius is. So if it's some real big high number, it's off the screen, and you just see the numbers falling, you know eventually it'll come back. Okay, so let's say somewhere in there. The W. So if I move it on this side, it'll also move on the other side. Yeah, it's fixing that over there as well. Okay, we'll make my fall off a little bit smaller. And a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, and that fixes that. I might want to use my sculpt brush and smooth this area out a little bit though. Let's see. Maybe just a hair. Okay, so I'll activate my sculpt brush. That's underneath surfaces and sculpt geometry tool. I have it on my shelf, so I'm just going to double click that. And let's see here. Looks like the fall off on this must be really small or really high. Looks like it's really high. Except 21. That was because I have to select this first. There we go. All right, so what I want to do is I just want to smooth this little section in right here. So if I hold Shift and I just click one time, you can see how it's just averaging this area in. So kind of softening that area that I pulled out. You gotta be really careful with that, or you can end up adding lumps. So single clicks, not dragging. There we go. And you can kind of do a drag click, which will affect the area and kind of spread it out a little bit. But that's good right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and click on my cylinder. I forgot to go ahead and name this guy here. So I'm gonna call this mesh underscore, and this is gonna be prop. Okay, click the history on it. Okay. Maybe we'll go ahead and just take the final couple steps too. I'll go ahead and add in a couple edge loops to help save the shape. Turn the soft select back off. Drop one in right here. One along up here. And then one right here. Let's see what that looks like. I like that shape. That looks pretty good. Press 1 to get back out of it. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to Mesh. Q, get out of that insert edge tool. Now go to Mesh and Smooth. Okay, and actually, back out of that just for a second. The faces that are inside the geometry here. I'm going to turn Insert Edge Loop tool back on. I'm going to add one more right in here. Now let's smooth it. That's a little bit better. Yeah. And I don't need mirroring back on anymore, so I'm just going to go up here with this Object X and just go to off. Turn that back off. Okay. All right, so we're done with the prop for now. Let's go ahead and create the inner hinging component for this prop. So I'm going to go to create another cylinder. Okay. I'm going to translate this one forward. Hit R for scale. Scale this thing down. Move it forward. I want to scale it down to about that size. A little bit bigger. There we go. That looks good. All right, so I'm going to scale it up in the y-axis. Okay. Hit W for translate. I'm just going to move it back in here, make sure it fits in here nice. Okay. Scale it down to about right there. Okay. Now I'm going to isolate this thing so it's all by itself. So I'm just going to isolate select. Let's get this a little bit tall. Okay. Turn back on Insert Edge Loop tool. Go to multiple edge loops. I'm going to add in 10 edge loops. I'm just going to drop them in right now. There we go. I'll close this down. What I'm planning on doing is I'm just going to go ahead and select the face loops going around. So go to face mode, select one face, hold down shift, double click the face next to it. That'll give me the whole loop. And I'm just going to go down and select every other loop. Select one face, double click the face next to it, select one face, double click the face next to it. Okay, now I can run my extrude tool and the blue arrow will pull the faces away from the surface for all of them. So I can go ahead and pull and get left with this interesting engine shape component. Okay, that's all we're going to do for this. I'm going to call this mesh engine part 1. Okay, I'll isolate that. Let's see what's inside here. Okay. What I need to do now, I can go ahead and move this down just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to select both these guys. I'm going to isolate both of them together. Because what I want to do is I want to actually move the pivot point of this to match the pivot point of this. So to be able to see the pivot point of this when it's not selected, so I need to have wire on shaded turned on. So that's inside your viewport. It's right next to where you have your textures turned on. So if I click on this guy right here, you'll notice that blue lines appear on any geometry, whether it's selected or not. That works out great for me. So now what I want to do is to get this pivot point where this move tool is to be down here, so I can use it to help create more of these engine parts going around here. Okay, so to change the pivot point, you got to press D, the letter D. Will activate your pivot point. Okay, and you can see there's a little square in the middle. That will allow, just tells you that you can move this wherever you want now, but to get it to be specifically where I want it, I'm going to vertex snap it to this location. So if you hold down the letter V, it'll give you this little round ball telling you that you're in vertex snapping mode. Now if you middle mouse button click and hold on top of this ball, it'll allow you to drag this pivot point and it'll snap to any vertexes around where the mouse cursor is. So once you drag it next to all these triangles, it'll snap onto where they all converge. Now if I hit E, I'll exit out of your pivot mode. And now I can use that pivot point to populate around the outside here. Now I could manually do this, but this will give me the opportunity to show you a different tool called Duplicate Special. So I'm going to use that rather than hand populating this. First I'm going to do is freeze transform, delete history. And I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate Special. I'm going to open the submenu for that. And underneath the rotate, I believe it's the Z, right? Yes, rotate Z. So this is X, Y, Z. So underneath the rotate column, rotate Z. I'm going to have it rotate 20 degrees. So 20 degrees, so divide between 360. Minus this one means we're going to need 17 more copies. Okay, so we'll just put 17. And we're going to hit apply. Okay, so there we go. We have our engine components. Now this looks a little tight to me. Feel a little bit looser, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to take this one here and just scale it. Scale it like so. I'll scale it back up in the y-axis. So it's back in the same spot, it's just skinnier. Now let's try it again. Okay, that looks a little bit better to me. So go ahead and close this down. And you'll notice that over here, it's adding the sequential numbering for us. So it's keeping that engine mesh part number going for every one that it creates an instance of. Okay, so that's good. All right, so I can exit out of here. Next thing I want to do is to create a nose cone for my propeller. So I'm going to turn off wire on shade for the moment. And I'm going to create myself yet another cylinder. Okay. Up in the scene, I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to call this one mesh underscore nose cone. Okay. And again, I'll rotate it 90 degrees and rotate X. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move this down like so. I'm going to scale it to where it's quite a bit smaller. This is the nose cone the blades are going to be attached to. I'm going to vertex snap this to the center of the propeller area. So I'm going to isolate these two again for a moment. Select this one, turn on wire and shade just for a moment so I can see what I'm doing. Hold down V, middle mouse button drag until it gets to the center. Okay, here we are. Good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertex Mode, And I'm going to grab this set of vertexes and move it back slightly to about right here. Okay, I'm going to scale this down a little bit more. Okay, that looks about right. Maybe we'll leave it about like that size. That looks good, actually. Okay, so we're going to go back to face mode. We're going to select all these faces right here on the cap. We're going to deselect any other faces that we don't want behind the cap. Okay, I'm going to go to my extrude tool, click on the scale functionality of it, scale it together, and then I'm going to move it out. I'm going to extrude again. Same thing, I'll bring it out a little bit more and bring it together. I think that this one here, let's just double click on that edge loop, scale it apart a little bit more. Okay. The tip part here, I'm just going to double click this edge, and I'm just going to run my bevel tool on it. Okay. And I'll add two segments on it. There we go. Okay, so the nose cone looks good. We're done with that. I'm going to now bevel the backside as well. Just going to select that, and the bevel tool on it. Put 0.1 as the fraction. I'm going to go to face mode. Do a little marquee box around the backside of that. Deselect everything. Select one face, double click there. So now you can see the back part here selected, but not the bevel. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to extrude, and maybe I'll turn X-ray on so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to extrude. I'm just going to pull this cap together. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to make this shaft that's going to go into the propeller or the prop area. I'll hit G, repeat last command, and I'm just going to push this through the engine parts. I'll turn X-ray back off. So this is kind of just like, this is what all the engine parts connect to. There we go. That's good. Okay. We just got to create the blade, and then we'll be done with the prop area. So to create the blade, I'm going to use a box to create it. So I'm just going to drop a box in my scene, hit W, bring this box out. Okay, I'm going to scale this to where it's flat, quite a bit smaller, about right in there. I'm going to scale it up in the Y-axis. That's pretty good. That's actually a little bit big. Just right there. Okay. Next, I'm going to add some geometry. So to do that, I'm going to double click on my Insert Edge Loop tool, go to Multiple Edge Loops, and switch that to 2 edge loops. Okay. I'm going to drop 2 loops going this way, and I'm going to drop 2 loops going this way. All right, so I'll use my scale tool. Since these 2 horizontal loops are still selected, I'm just going to use the scale tool to move it to the edge of the propeller blade. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go to Vertex Mode. I'm just going to select this end set of vertices in the middle. And I'm just going to move them up. This will give me a little round view for the blade right here. Bottom part down here. I'm going to go to Face Mode. I'll select this bottom face right here. And this bottom face isn't quite wide enough for me, so I'm going to hit R for scale. I'm just going to scale this one face a little further apart. Okay. I'm going to extrude out, and this is going to be kind of the pole that holds this blade. It's going to go inside this area. Okay. This probably should be good long enough. Next, I'm going to create this piece right here, and this is what's going to actually be holding like a wooden blade or whatever. So I select this face, hold down Shift, double click this face, select the full loop. I'll run my extrude tool one time, and I'll just pull the blue arrows away from the surface. So give me this kind of thing that's going to hold the blade. Okay. Kind of looks like a sword a little bit, huh? All right, so we're getting there. Next, I'm going to go to Edge Mode. I'm going to double click on this edge and this edge. Just kind of go around and make sure that I have all the edges. This one kind of goes in here. getting all the edges going all the way around. Okay, I think I got them all. I don't want these ones. No cross edges. Also don't want these ones. Gotta be careful of having edges selected that are not going to be beveled. If you have edges selected that are not going to be beveled, it can mess your mesh up. Like that one there. That one's not supposed to be selected. Or that one. All right, so now I can just click bevel. That should work. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's get all around. Okay. And one of the things I also want to do is to add a little bit of a twist to this. Excuse me. Propeller blades have a little bit of a twist. Before I do that, then I'm going to scale the blade apart a little bit at the end. Now I'll just activate my rotate tool. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a twist. That way when it's spinning, it will be slicing the air and moving it behind it rather than just cutting straight through it. So that's the idea behind the blade. Okay, just a little bit. And then from here, I'm just going to move it back. Somewhere right around there. That means this has to be out a little bit further. Okay, that looks good. This still has to come out a smidge more. I want touching the actual prop housing. Okay, something like that. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to select this guy. I'm going to freeze transforms, delete history. I need to do the same thing I did with this as I did with these guys. So I got to move the pivot point so it's on this vertex, because I need to duplicate it and I want to pivot around this one center spot. So I'm going to hold down D and V and middle mouse button drag this to the center here. Okay, that's good. So now this will pivot like so. Good. All right. It's be called mesh prop blade. Okay. So I need 2 more instances of this to make my 3 blade. So I'm just going to hit Control D. I'm going to add a rotation value of 120. I'll rotate Z. I'm going to hit Control D. This one's going to be 240. There we go. Got my 3 prop blades, and we're good. Okay, so we're over 20 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save scene. Turn off fire unshaded. See how we're doing. That looks pretty good. I like the look at that. And actually, I'm going to take this one more step further. I'm going to go to smooth these guys too. I meant to do that earlier. Smooth. There we go. Smoothed all 3 of these. That looks pretty nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Make sure you guys save before you close down Maya. I'll save again. Okay, so in the next lesson, we're going to go ahead and do the wings and support, and then we'll pull back in the prop for the pontoons and get them all situated with our airplane, and that will be done with the modeling section of this project. And then we'll move on. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.